So I get a ton of questions from Shopify dropshippers on how to use Google Shopping to scale their sales and profit. Okay, so I want to record this short video to answer that question for you and really show you a proven formula to really growing right your sales and profits with Google Shopping. Okay, now this is a real world example. It's going to be real numbers of a high ticket dropshipping store, right? And I'm going to walk you through this formula. So now for those who don't know me, my name is Kurt Prosser. I'm managing partner at Easton Digital. I'm also partner in several Amazon private label brands. But Easton Digital specializes in working with small to mid-sized e-commerce stores and really helping them grow right, their sales and profits on Google Shopping. Okay, now let's get right into it. So, first of all, I want to give you just a little bit of an example, okay, a little bit of overview of Google Shopping. Okay, then I'm going to get into, more specifically the formula that we use, and then lastly, I'll get into the actual numbers from the real world drop shipping store. Okay. Now, for those that don't know, right, Google Shopping are these ads that show up at the top of Google. You see the price, see the image, right, before they click, before a customer. So a customer would just go to Google, search metal detectors, boom, here is a Google Shopping ad. Now, the important thing to think about when it comes to Google Shopping is there's different stages in the customer journey, right? There's different stages in the sort of customer path. Someone looking for just metal detector, right, might click on that Granger ad and look at this plastic one. They may click on one of the other ads and see this Garrett AP Pro. But if as they move down the funnel, they're going to get to a point where they realize that that Garrett AT Pro is the model for them, is the metal detector for them. Okay, so now they go back to Google, right? They search for Garrett AP Pro metal detector, and here's where they have the current sellers of the Garrett AT Pro. This is a part actually that goes on the Garrett AT Pro. That's why the price is so low. But for the most part, all these other sellers in this prime spot is around 152. Okay. That's the typical path. That's how Google Shopping works. Okay. Now, one other important thing to keep in mind with Google Shopping is the way that it works is it'll show your ad for whatever Google thinks is relevant to your product titles. Okay. So that's an important understanding that we'll come back to later. But now let's get into the formula, okay? Now the formula that you should be using when it comes to, really scaling your Google Shopping profits, particularly if you're a dropshipper store, okay, is first, okay, start with value. Okay, you have to offer customers, more value, right, than the other sellers, right? You have to give them a reason to want to buy from you, okay? Now, maybe that values information. Maybe it's price, right? Maybe it's design help. Maybe it's support. Maybe it's bundled products. Maybe it's a amazing return policy. Who knows, right? But just think about it in terms of your customers' mindset, customers' eyes, right? And what would they value the most? For example, we work with a furniture drop shipper, and they offer white label or sorry, white glove setup of the furniture, right? Which is super valuable, right? You boxes removed, everything's set up, you're good to go. Okay, so the point is, you have to offer customer value, and in this example with this Garrett AT Pro, what could you do if you're drop shipping this item to offer the customer value, right? So they may go to Cabela's, they see this, it's the typical whatever whatever that price was, 552.99. Okay. Now, what if you decide, well, hey, I want to offer a bundled deal, right? Maybe add in some other products at this 552 price point, right? Now it gives customers a reason to want to buy from this store, right? As opposed to Cabela's, right? Because you get the Garrett AT Pro, but you get these other items, right? Here's maybe a cleaner example of that where now this Garrett AT Pro, they're including a whole bunch of stuff. I see headphones here, I see a book, I see, I don't know what this other stuff is, a case maybe, some other stuff here. This one has a whole bunch of other stuff in here. Okay, the point is you know what these guys are doing is these guys are offering more value to the customer by bundling the product, right? The core product, the RD2 Pro metal detector, with other items, the book, the pinpointers, the favorites books, okay, whatever. So they're giving customers a reason to want to click on their ad and come to the store and buy from them. Okay, it sounds simple, but you'd be surprised at how many drop shipping stores don't understand this, right? Again, I get a lot of phone calls on this. I get a lot of emails, Facebook messengers about, from drop shippers saying, like, how can I use Google Shopping? And when I ask them, okay, well, why should someone buy from you? They don't have a good answer. They don't have a reason that why customers should buy. One the other day said, customer service. Okay, well, how do you measure customer service, right? How do I know that your customer service is better than Cabela's or Amazon or someone else, right? So you have to give a reason. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe it's content, maybe it's price, right? But more often than not, if you're drop shipping, you have map pricing, or you have to be careful about that, about rushing to the bottom. But like an example in a golf niche, information, right? Training videos was super valuable reason that you should buy this golf item from this example store, this client that we work with, versus another store. Okay, so the point is you really have to offer customers value. It's the first step. Okay, the second step is keyword targeting. Okay, now remember I said the way that Google Shopping works by default is it pulls your product titles and description and shows your ads for whatever Google thinks is relevant. Okay, so it's just an algorithm showing for whatever they think is relevant. But, okay, if you're a drop shipper, okay, you've got lower margins. Okay, if you're a small drop shipper, right, just getting started or thinking about or trying to wonder if if you can really get into Google Shopping and how you can use it, you don't have a big budget. You're not going to want to overspend. So you want to use keyword targeted campaigns to go after high ROI, high purchase intent terms, right? And minimize your ad spend at the low purchase intent, sort of top of funnel, right? Generic terms. For example, someone searching for a metal detector, tons of search volume, big market, tons of searches. Maybe you shouldn't go after those terms. Maybe if you're selling this Garrett AT Pro, you should just go after the Garrett AT Pro terms. Okay, just focus your ad spend on those high ROI terms and then grow. Prove that you're offering customers more value at that stage, okay, at the Garrett AT Pro, right, and give them a reason to buy from you. So that way, when you get to the metal detector, you're just not going to lose sales to someone else that is offering more value than you, okay? So use the keyword targeted campaigns. Now, I've recorded a video earlier, several months ago, about keyword targeting, how it works, the differences. But in a nutshell, okay, what you have is you have multiple campaigns, right, and potentially multiple ad groups with different keywords in each campaign and bucket, okay, or in each campaign ad group. So let's say we have one campaign and ad group that has all of your high purchase intent, really strong, high ROI terms, and then one over here that has, the lower ROI terms. So you want to bid differently each one of those, okay? That's how it works in a nutshell. You can go back and watch the video on that. If you have any questions, if you need help, you can just post a question below and I can answer any questions on that. Now, the third thing that's really important to understand is profit rainbow. Okay, now again, I recorded a previous video on this, but in case you missed that video, just a little recap. Okay, this is sort of the profit rainbow. Okay, now by default, the way that this curve works and the way that most people run ads on Google Shopping is they're looking at just this red line. Okay, let's say that you're targeting everything. You're going really big. You're spending a ton of money. You're going after big, high top of funnel terms like metal detector or like hobbies for guys, hobbies for retired people. You're going after big top of funnel terms, and you're going after the high ROI terms, right? So your ROI is going to be really low, and your profit's going to be really low. Okay. Now at the other extreme, let's say that you're just going after, using our keyword targeted process, okay, and let's say you're just going after the high ROI terms, people specifically looking for the Garrett AT Pro or Garrett AT Pro bundle set, right? There are some people searching for that, and so if your bundle set's better, right, you're gonna get the sale, right? So very high ROS. Less competitive. You're going to have less people sort of just clicking and viewing. These are people that want to buy. They're already in the purchase decision. So your ROI, your ROS is going to be very high at that end extreme, right? But your overall profit's gonna be low because there's just not as many people searching for it. So what we do, as part of our keyword campaigns, is we're really optimizing to get to this peak profitability, right? This is what what everybody tries to do is really get to that peak mix of spend and ROI to get the most amount of profit your bottom line. Okay. Now, our keyword target campaigns are very successful at getting to this point because we're breaking up those keywords in different groups. But you're going to max out. Okay. If you're drop shipping, right? Everybody else is, there's going to be other people drop shipping. You're going to have a little bit lower ROI, or sorry, a little lower margin, probably, than private labelers. So the question is once you've offered value, right? You've done keyword targeting. How do you really raise up and level up your profit? This is where conversion rate optimization comes into play. Increase your average order value, focus on return visitor purchase and lifetime value. Okay, just increasing your conversion rate, right? Let's say you're doing 100K in sales from those Google Shopping ads, increasing your conversion rate from, let's say, 1 to 1.5, right? Just increase your sales from 100K to 150K, right? That's just from 1 to 1.5. That's a big jump in sales, right? On the same amount of ad spend. Okay, so that's a big difference, right? Now, let's say you took the average order value, let's say $500, and increase that to let's just say 10% to 100 to 550, just as an example, right? Now you took that 150K to 165K, right? And that's just an example for easy math for my sake, but you can see sort of how increasing the average order value from maybe 500, right, to 600 to 700 can make a big difference. Okay, return visitor purchase, very important. I can't talk enough about return visitor purchase, especially in keyword targeting, because again, we're targeting those high intent terms, okay, over here. And so let's say of everybody that searches for the Garrett AT Pro, let's say 2% buy. What's 98% of people that were looking for your Garrett AT Pro but didn't buy? We need to get them to come back, right? So we need to get them to come back to the website to purchase. I mean, we have some clients that run their Google Shopping at a 1-to-1 ROS or 1x ROS, right? They'll spend $10,000, get $10,000 in sales because they're super effective at getting that return visitors, right? That other 98% of people to come back and buy, right? And that makes a big difference, right? Let's say you just get $10,000 initial sales, but then you get $15,000 to come back later and buy, right? Now it's 25. Now let's say we go to the next level and they buy over and over again, right? Very popular in sort of supplements or products where they're going to come back over and buy. You can take that 25 to, let's say, 35, right? Now you spent 10 to get 35. So that's just an example, but the point is most agencies, most people just look at this red line, okay? In order to really scale your sales and profit, right, especially for dropshippers, you need to start to work up this profit rainbow. Look at conversion rate optimization, AOV, return visitor purchase, and lifetime value. You need to sort of keep working yourself up because, again, your ad spend doesn't increase. By improving these things, your sales just go up, right? So very important, use the profit rainbow. Again, I've got a whole presentation on this, a whole long video on this. I'm not going to bore you with the details here. Go back and watch the video on the profit rainbow. Very helpful for that. Walks you through some examples of things you can do at each of these stages. Okay. Now, right, if you do all three of these things, right, this is where you're going to be able to really scale your sales and profit. This is really where drop shippers can to really be successful with Google Shopping because they're offering more value. They're being more strategic about their keywords and picking and choosing which keywords to target. And they're working on things like conversion rate optimization and the profit rainbow, working that profit rainbow to really beat the market. Okay, so this is going to make a huge difference. This is the formula that you should be using if you're a drop shipper. So, again, I get a ton of phone calls. I'm happy to help. I get a ton of emails and Facebook, but you have to offer these. I'll ask you and say, hey, why should someone buy your product versus someone else's? And if you say customer service, I'm like, Google Shopping may not work for you. You have to offer customers more value, particularly in the drop shipping, because your margins are obviously lower than if it's your own brand or private label or something like that. Okay. So that's the formula. That's what you should be using. Now, let me give you the example of numbers that you want to be looking at here. Hold on one second. Looks like I close that window. Okay, so here's the numbers. Okay, so this is a real example. This is about, let's see, about a month here. Again, I hit a bunch of stuff just to keep things private, just for confidentiality. But the point is, okay, this campaign grew, I think it was about 3 months, grew to just like I said, just under 150K. Well, it's 132K in total sales. Okay, we've got 3 different Google Shopping campaigns with different targeting for each campaign. We've got many ad groups within there. Sorry, we have, excuse me, 4 shopping campaigns. Um, and then we've got a search campaign, and then we have branded text aid campaign. So really, the branded text campaign, technically you should back that out. I mean, that's not really new sales or people just looking for your website. So you can sort of back this number out. But in general, these are numbers, like I said, just 130 some K in sales over this not even month time frame. Okay. Now, a couple important numbers to look at this, and a couple important numbers to be aware of. Number one is click-through rate. Okay, we see a lot of particularly drop shippers, come to say, look, here's my Google Shopping campaigns for the past 6 months, and I'm not getting the ROI I want. What's going on? And we look at it like, oh, your click-through rate is so low. It's a 0.5 or 0.3%. Okay, internally we sort of call that the spiral of death, because what will happen, and it sounds ominous, but what happens is, because Google gets paid when people click your ad, right? They get paid when people click. So if your click-through rate's low, right, on that product, right, your quality score will start to dip, right, which means Google won't want to show your ad as much, which means your ads falls down in position, which means you get even less click-through rate because you're showing up lower and lower, and then it just keeps going down and down. So eventually you'll just sort of fall off the page, get way down, you just get a very low click-through rate. So you get stuck down there. Okay. Sometimes the only way out of that is completely change your product IDs and data feed, or it's going to take like a month or two to sort of build it back up, because that quality score metric, which gets stored in the Google Merch Center, is very, very important, and click-through rate is a major component of that. Okay, so very important to look through the click-through rate. Ideally, right, we like to see anything around 2%, right? But for drop shippers, it's a little bit harder, right? Because there's many other people selling your same product that are drop shipping it. So your click-through rate is gonna be lower. Okay, so 1% is okay for drop shipping. But obviously the better, the higher the number, the better. Okay. Now, it's important that, okay, these campaigns are all, sort of structured differently. We've got different, strategies for each one of these campaigns. So, for example, this is a campaign with, better terms that, this is a campaign for more generic terms. Okay, so we're spending, 25% less per click on this traffic here. This one's a real sort of sweet spot for us. You can see high ROS. It's a 38x return on ad spend, right? So really high ROS, so we went a bit higher. And so very, very important to look at click-through rate. Very important to look, understand your CPC, how your CPC is broken up, and your conversion rate. Okay, good traffic up here. A couple of things you may want to look at, which I don't have on this image here. Search impression share. That's a really good indicator of sort of market. So like in this campaign right here, we'd want a really high search impression share. We'd want really high, good ad placement for this. So you can use some sort of Google Shopping ad tracking software. It takes screenshots of your ads for that particular keyword to make sure your ads are showing up. But it's very important to look at these numbers, understand sort of what levers you can pull, what you can adjust to get the better, the best possible return on ad spend. Okay. But this is, like I said, this is a real world example. This is, I think we've been with this for about like 3 months or so. So, relatively new, not particularly like fancy website, not, sort of lower budget website. Again, it's all drop shipping, lower margin, right? Low margin. So, you have to be careful at this. This number can look a little deceiving. It's not like they're making, the 129,000 here, right? I don't want to get into numbers here, but low margin. Okay, so they're not making $20,000-$30,000 in profit every month. Okay, but it is profitable. It is profitable. It's scaling. It's and now we're going back to look at that profit rainbow to really ramp it up. Okay, so what we'd like to see is that 4K, right? We've got some cleanup, we've got some cuts we need to do in some of these campaigns, particularly, this one here. But what we like to do is see that maybe 4K a month in spend, right? But ramp that up to 150, 160, 170K. Now it starts to get, now it's become really, really profitable, right? Really successful drop shipping for, really successful drop shipping store. So, okay. That's it for today's video. Again, hopefully you sort of get value from this. So if you understand that you have to offer customers value, the keyword targeting, the profit rainbow, that's the key to really scaling your sales and profit. So if you have any questions about this video, certainly post comments below, post questions below. I'll see if I can I'll try to include some links in the comment section to some of these other videos for you. And also, if you'd like a free analysis, free strategy session, where we can get into your specific store and account, just click one of the links below, and we can do a analysis for you. Also, right, if you found this video valuable, right, be sure to like, subscribe, share. We try to post videos like this every week or every other week or something, so you can see other videos like this. But also share with other people, share with other drop shippers. Make sure that other drop shippers aren't wasting their money on Google Shopping. Because again, I get a lot of questions about this. I get so many questions from drop shippers, and if you just help them get started on the right track, it'll make a world of difference. Save them a ton of money, ton of wasted ad spend. Don't give Google more money than they need, or don't give Google any more money. They've got enough money as is. So, help them get started on the right track. So, if you have any questions, like I said, just simply post the comments below. But that's it for today's video. Hopefully you found it valuable. That's it. Cheers.